This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. Today I'm very lucky to be joined by Wayne Smith. So thank you very much for coming on, Wayne. It's good to see you, mate.
And you, matey.
So Wayne, what have you been up to today? Because it's quite nice weather in England for once.
I've had match room in the gym today, to tell you the truth. Been doing a bit with Anthony Fowler. So I've been in the gym with match room, Anthony Fowler, promoting his up and coming fight, which is coming. And then I've been enjoying a bit of sun.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Was there air conditioning in the gym?
Nope. It's just hot when it's summer, cold when it's winter.
Oh wow, then I guess that's good for cutting weight. I guess and he's got quite a few weeks out, so that must be all right. So what I really want to talk about today is I watched an interview of you a while back. I think it was about October Red on Blackflash Emotions, and you had quite an interesting story. And so we go all the way back to your kind of childhood almost. When you were growing up, the two sports that you would play would be football and boxing. And so what was it like? How did you originally kind of get into boxing?
Basically, when we was young, it was the only things you could do. You could either box or play football. There wasn't really much choice. Television would finish at 12 o'clock. There'd be 3 channels, 4 channels. So he was either good at one or the other. So I was just good at everything sports-wise. I tried different combat sports. I tried judo, karate, kickboxing, obviously with the football, and then I always wanted to box. So boxing was my destiny.
You eventually you wanted to turn professional. You had a few amateur fights, and you wanted to turn professional for boxing. Your coaches, you wanted to kind of get your man strength a bit more, and all your mates they were getting into that kind of freestyle kickboxing, and you kind of transitioned over to that. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Sorry, mate.
Can you tell me a bit about the freestyle kickboxing?
Yeah, it was just as I say, you just said you know my story. A lot of my mates was getting into kickboxing. It was just freestyle. There was no weight category, so I just started up with them. Obviously, with my boxing background, I found it a lot easier because obviously I was just scoring the shots. I wasn't really kicking. I was just scoring the shots. It was semi-contact. You just hit. And at one point, it was a 10-point system. And I done really well at it, to tell you the truth. Obviously, I wasn't really looking to pursue that because of my boxing career, but I done well at it.
And what I also found a bit odd about your kickboxing side of things is there weren't any weight classes, so just juniors and then the adults. How come there were no weight classes in the freestyle kickboxing?
I don't know, because there was a guy named Alfie Lewis. He started the freestyle up. He won the world title a few times. So there wasn't no weight categories as for when you're a novice. You know, as I say, it wasn't like full contact. It was just like 1 point score, you know. So it wasn't really brutal, as they say. Well, I shouldn't really say that to what happened to me, but it wasn't really. It was just 10 points. It was just touch, and there's your point. So it wasn't really full contact. It wasn't full contact, semi-contact. So that's why you beat all the bigger fellas, because of the speed of the slow ones.
Oh, okay. I guess it kind of evens out. I understand now. And you mentioned just earlier you're in a tournament. I mean, I want to make sure I get my facts right here, but you're in a tournament, and I think you made it to the final, and you're winning the fight. The fight was stopped to an injury of your eye. What can you tell me about that? Because that's quite a nasty injury you had to your eye.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had developed a clot under my left eye, which come through. I actually got it in the first fight of the tournament, which obviously led to my eye being closed fully, and the rest is history. You know, like you've heard that story. I've told the story a million times. I know it's for your viewers, but yeah, that was basically it.
And when you came out of the kind of like the coma, the doctor said that you had never boxed again. I guess combat sports is kind of quite a big thing in your life. Obviously, the freestyle kickboxing, the judo, the boxing. How that kind of make you feel? Because being told you're never going to box again, it's pretty hard.
Listen, mate, it killed me. But at this time, I couldn't walk, so never mind. I couldn't talk, so even it was really hard. It was mentally, physically, it was hard. It was really, really difficult. Them years, even to this day, people like it's still hard. People don't realize, it's a struggle. It's a battle for me every day. It's not like I'm fine now. I had that, and that happened a while ago, and now you're all right. No, it's not that. I still struggle and suffer because of it, because of the consequences of it on a daily basis. So yeah, it's a struggle, but as I say, I'm big. I'm a big man now, so I can look back and mentor kids like what I do now.
You're a true fighter in that kind of aspect in the way. And a lot of people in your position in that time would have kind of encouraged that time, would have kind of given up. What gave you the strength to not give up and keep going? And you obviously box again, you kind of got involved in the coaching side of things.
Do you know what? It was just I mean, destiny was written out to get back into the boxing. It was all I knew. I didn't know nothing else. It wasn't like, I could go down that route. I could go down right. I didn't know nothing else. So that's all I knew. So when I was doing my rehab in the hospital, I was still getting overloaded with the boxing videos, boxing magazines, rah, rah, rah. So basically, I didn't know nothing else but boxing. So I could have went into, I should have, whatever, but that's all I knew.
I remember you saying your grandma would always buy your boxing news magazines quite a lot.
Yeah.
Do you still get them, the boxing news magazines?
Do you know what? I stopped them. I do. I go on like a little. I'll get them for a little month or two, and then stop. There's that much available on the internet now, so I don't really need to get the magazines.
Yeah, I know. On Twitter, you just go on Twitter all the time. You get boxing news for the last year almost. And so you kind of got involved in the coaching side of things. How did you kind of find that transitional phase of being a boxer to a coach?
Do you know what? I had no option myself. It's like it happened in me late teens. Me bleed on my brain. So as I say, my whole life was upside down. All of my 20s was like I was in a different world, So it was like, I wanted the box, but I was at that dog in me that I couldn't, that anger in me, and I was fighting that I couldn't box, and it took a long time for me to accept that. So obviously, as I got much older, I can coach. I've been around the world. I know I've studied the best. I've been around the best coaches in the world. So obviously, it led me to do what I do now.
And now you've got a Golden Gloves gym in Liverpool. What kind of gave you the idea to open up a Golden Gloves gym in Liverpool? So I know Golden Gloves is quite big in America. We don't have the Golden Gloves. We just have a nationals in here for amateur boxing. So what kind of gave you the idea to open up the gym in Liverpool?
Well, I spent like 9 years of my life in the Golden Gloves in Liverpool, which it's produced many a champion over the years. And it was still going in different venues and different social clubs and sports centres. It was still going. The name was carrying on until maybe about 15 years ago when they lost their home and he was homeless. And so we ended up being in a local community centre, paying rent in a local community centre. And as with coaches, as you know, it's a lot of responsibility, it's dedication, and it's a lot of things to take on board because it's you've got your own life, but with coaching, if you can't really commit, you can't really be an amateur coach. Do you know what I mean? Because it is hard work. So when I found myself that I could commit to the sport, and Golden Gloves was finished, and I thought, you know what, I ain't letting this place die because it saved me. It made me into the person I am today. So I thought, I'm not letting this place go rack and ruin. And so I was it's high and low until I got a suitable venue. And still in the community, still in the area where Golden Gloves has always been. And built it from there, reinvented Golden Gloves. We're now cherishing, until the pandemic, we've had many a national champion. We've had, as we were speaking about, Anthony Fowler. We've got Marcel Braithwaite, who was English champion. He boxed Sonny Edwards. Maybe give him his hardest fight to date. He'll argue with that, but Sonny's a great champion, a great lad. But he had them down, and he gave him a hard fight. So everyone else in the gym just looks up to the likes of them, and they're just like, well, they can do it, I can do it. There's the pathway to do it, and we're very close with Colliers, the Moston, Manchester, being part of our partners. So we've got everything in hand to make it work. Because Lyndon, Arthur, and Zalfa Barrett have proved that, we can do it. There's the route. So the pathway's there. Just follow the plan, and you'll get there.
I bet you've seen I bet you've seen Sonny Edwards quite a few times since that fight, right?
Me, I've seen him.
Yeah.
Yes, Sonny's an absolute diamond. He's a top guy. And I've seen him loads of times. Marcel's been down sparred him whilst in preparation for his world title. There's no bad blood whatsoever. There's no bad. If he were like Marcel to get into position, maybe to fight him again down the line, that would be a great fight if Marcel starts to rebuild his career. And hopefully by the end of the year, he'll have a belt round his waist. Yeah, preferably the British, and then we'll move on from there. He's miles away from Sonny at the moment, but he still give him his hardest fight to date, and I'll stand by that. I've argued with Sonny many times over it.
Wait, does Sonny think he gave him his hardest fight though?
Well, you only have to watch the interviews, what he had afterwards, and he basically said to I film to Box Social, he basically saying it was a hard fight. If I'm going to win a world title, I'm going to have to be a lot better than that. And it's not for me to say. It's the whole crowd, all supporters, all thought to give me his hardest fight. It was close up to the 6th round. Then he had him down in the 8th round, and then Marcel was he just got beat then, do you know what I mean? But, I don't know if you watched the fight without the commentary on, and you watch the fight, and it's a very close fight up to the later rounds. But Marcel was still in it. He was still in it. Sonny had bad hands, which he done on Marcel's head. He also got a cut in the fight. He was on his ass in the fight. So, he lost, and Sonny won the fight, and all credit goes to Sonny, because as I've just said, he is a great champion, and he's a great, great, great lad. Just last week after Lyndon boxed, he was in the hotel with us, and he was like taking all the kids was there, and he had his hands up like taking more pads, and just to see him doing that to all the kids, it was like, just little things like that make them kids. They'll never forget things like that. So, full respect to Sonny, and I wish him all the best.
I mean, Sonny has quite a good story. I remember seeing on Chris Lloyd's Instagram, he was a Wimbledon boy. He was a Wimbledon boy. I can't say that.
Yeah,
I remember seeing video of that. I remember him playing table tennis with Andy Joshua. You go to the thing, it says his oldest post on his Instagram, him playing table tennis with him. I've only got a couple of questions left. I don't take too much of your time up. But you've won quite a lot of Pat Barrett's fighters. And Lyndon Arthur fought quite recently. Who do you think the Lyndon Arthur will fight next? I've seen a lot of people saying it's Anthony Yard. I don't know if Lyndon and Pat know it's going to be... Do you know who's going to fight next? Because I don't know if Lyndon and Pat know it's going to be Anthony Yard yet next. I don't think it should be Anthony Yard, because I don't know. I think, if you put it this way, if Yard had beat him, they wouldn't give Arthur the rematch, would they? So who do you think that Lyndon's going to fight next then?
Well, I think if tell you the truth, after last weekend, I'm sick of going on about the Anthony Yard fight, and
Yeah,
I think
his
you
whole
know
team, isn't it?
it's like basically he's Anthony Yard has to now look at himself in the mirror. I've been beat twice. I've been inactive, so now it's down for me to rebuild, get a couple of wins, and then if they'll let Lyndon go on to win a world title, and then have a rematch. It makes more sense. It makes more money. It makes. But I'm nobody. That's just my opinion. I would, but I can't see Anthony Yard beating Lyndon anyway. You know, if he couldn't get near him when he had a jab, you know, when he's fully loaded, he wouldn't go. He wouldn't be able to do anything against Lyndon.
Do you think
So,
Linden? Do you think Linden stops this time?
pardon?
Do you think Linden will stop him this time?
Well, he'll win anyway. I think Lyndon's got too much. He's got too much knowledge of the game. He's come on leaps and bounds. You know, he's boxed at top level as an amateur. He boxed WSB. He was on the GB squad. You know, Lyndon's destined to win a world title.
It's only a matter of time. I feel that for Linden's style, he's so good. That jab's so good. I feel like people won't voluntarily give him a defense. Really, they'll have to go for the mandatory system. Because no one will really offer a title to Linden to fight against. Then he's WBO #1, isn't he? So
Yeah.
Junior fight. Let's go one more question. Don't donate too much of time. Just to touch on Zelfa Barrett, we haven't heard much from Zelfa in a while. I mean, his last fight was Kiko Martinez, which he got quite a lot of stick for, which everyone thought he won. It's just the judges that gave it quite so wide. Do you know what's happening with Zelfa Barrett next?
Yeah. There'll be an announcement this week over Zelfa. I can't really. He's got a date, and as I said, there'll be an announcement this week. Zelfa's lost his mum quite recently. His mum was like his sister. They're the best friends, so he's had to get over that. He's had a lot of trauma, but Zelfa's going to come back bigger and better and stronger than ever because he's just like going to do it for his mum. So yeah, there'll be an announcement this week over for Zelfa. Should be out he'll be out next month.
Oh, I didn't know. That's good. Everyone knows that Zelfa's got his fight. And you've also got the 2 Blackflash promotion shows, haven't you? You've got the one in Manchester first and in Liverpool, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the one on the card in Liverpool. The Manchester show's a great show. It's a great way to have smaller shows come back. But the one in Liverpool is a top show. Worthy of any card. You've got the likes of Nick Ball on it. He signed with Warren. Brad Strand, he signed with Frank Warren. You've got Carly Skelly, who fought for the Commonwealth title. And you've got top of the bill, you've got Marcel Braithwaite, former English champion, and he boxed for the British title against Sonny Edwards, who now holds and he pushed Jay Harris who we all know Jay Harris is a class, and he had a hard fight with Martinez. So, you know, off them 2 fights with Marcel, they're better than like 10 journeyman fights. They're 2. He's learned so much of that, and he will come back stronger. And you'll get back and tell you, I told you that. Honestly, he's looking so good, and it'd be a pleasure to watch him next week.
So you're saying, I know you're going to be biased, but you're from Liverpool, and you're saying the Liverpool show is going to be a lot better than the Manchester show then?
No. I'm just saying there's bigger names. I'm not saying that at all. The show in Manchester is a massive show. It's a great show, obviously, but the Liverpool show's got bigger names on, you know?
Yeah.
That's all it is, nothing else. We've got some great talent. You've got a kid called Niall Brown. You've got Conor Bate, and you know the bill on the lineup. What's there? It's a top lineup, and especially the return of small hall boxing is, you know, everyone's wanted this. The pandemic's over. Hopefully, you know, that it gets announced tomorrow, and we'll all enjoy it next week. And then the week after, and then there's a week after that, we've got another show at Oldham. So 3 shows, 3 back-to-back shows. Small unboxing's back.
Yeah, I know small boxing is kind of the backbone of boxing. It makes all the future stars. But thank you so much for your time today, Wayne. That's great. That's really good. So thank you so much.
Not a problem.
And where can people find you on social media at?
you can find me on, you can find the club on New Golden Gloves. You can find that Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, Wayne Smith. And yeah, Twitter, Wayne Smith. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Wayne. That's awesome. Thank you for your time, mate.
No problem. You come to the show next week?
No, I was meant to. I was really annoyed about that because I live in London. Like, I
Okay.
come up to the show because the problem with doing these interviews, I like doing the interviews on Zoom, but I really wanted to start doing them in person. Obviously, the pandemic's kind of stopped it. But it was my mum's birthday. If it wasn't my mum's birthday, then I'll be up on the train to Manchester. But hopefully, there'll be some shows later in the year that I'll come up to.
Not a problem. You take care, yeah?
Yeah, you too. That's awesome.